Okay, I think we are going to go ahead and kick off this BYU MESA Alumni webinar as people are starting to join us. So we're going to give them maybe 1 minute and then we'll go ahead and get everything started. Okay, welcome everyone. Welcome to the BYU MESA Alumni webinar. We are so excited to have you join us. I am Esther Olson, a graduate of the MESA program in 2012, and I am one of the members of the BYU MESA Alumni Board. So we are a fairly new group. We do periodic events and we also do periodic newsletters. So if you are not getting those or not getting invitations, we would love to make sure that you're invited. So feel free to post in the chat to let us know, and we can make sure to update your contact information. Likewise, you can respond to any of the newsletters if you are getting those. But please do make sure to update your contact information. There was a request that went out in the survey newsletter that just went out in the last couple of weeks. So we want to make sure that you're getting the information and you're getting invited. Throughout this webinar, you are welcome to submit any comments or questions in the chat. Those are being monitored, and so you can go ahead and submit those, and we'll make sure to ask them of our panelists today. If you are interested in getting involved, there's many ways you can get involved with the MESA Alumni Board. We can also help connect you so that you can show your interest in mentoring students. It's always fun to be working with students, and there's a lot of great students at BYU in the MESA program right now. Additionally, if you're ever interested in giving a webinar or anything, please let us know. We would love to have you. Additionally, in the next few days, you'll be getting a post-event survey to provide feedback about future events. With COVID, we've switched to online events, so we're excited that we can reach more alumni across the world. And so we hope to have you join us, and we hope to have you share your feedback. So the agenda for tonight, we're really excited. We are going to start out with Professor Quinn Meekum, and he's going to give us the MESA program updates. After Quinn, we will be having the new faculty in the last few years speak. So we have the Blankenships, and then also Christine Isom Verharan will be talking to us, giving kind of their updates, their introduction about who they are, and just really excited to have them as part of the program. After that, we'll be getting an update from Liz Walker and Chris Hawks, sharing their experience as students right now. It's got to be a crazy time for students, but really excited to hear about what they've been up to and what the program's like from the student perspective. And then finally, we'll be having questions. There were a lot of great questions submitted in advance. So thank you to those who submitted questions. Again, if you have a question that comes up while the faculty and students are talking, please feel free to submit it and we will try and get that answered for you. So with that, I'm going to stop sharing and we are going to go ahead and invite Professor Meekum to go ahead and give us an update about the program.
Thank you so much, Esther. We're so delighted that we now have a very active MESA Alumni Board. We have a bunch of folks that have contributed as mentors to our students in the past couple of years. And I'm just so pleased that we're doing this. And I think we're really ahead of a lot of other programs at BYU in terms of our interest and outreach toward alumni. We really depend on you as alumni for a number of things that we do. And I'll try to explain some of the things that that we're doing in MESA right now that maybe you didn't experience when you went through the program, but we think that have been really positive contributions for our students. A few updates from the past couple of years. One is if you look at our full student body, we are usually the largest major in the Kennedy Center outside of international relations, which tends to be the biggest by quite a ways. But of the area studies programs, we are often the largest major. We serve about 100 students. About 80 students on average are attending courses as part of their major, and about 20 to 30 students are attending as part of a MESA minor. And that's a small enough program, as you probably remember, that it's a program where people get to know each other really well, but it's also a big enough program that we have an enormous amount of diversity and some really, really talented students. One of the things that I've been convinced of over the years as I've worked with MESA students is that every single student who declares a major in Middle East Studies and Arabic is an interesting person, more interesting than the average BYU student. And they come to the program often with really profound personal experiences that make them delightful people to get to know, and awesome friendships get formed that last for many, many years. And I hope that you experience some of that during your time in the program. I think studying a language for many years and studying abroad with others really enables that process. We have a professional development program in MESA that is 2 years old now. I've been teaching a course called Professional Development and International Studies. It's a 1-credit course. And some of you have been on the receiving end of requests from students who are asked as part of that course to do interviews with alumni. One of the things that course does is help people to think about various pathways over time. They come up with a 5-year plan and work toward that 5-year plan. We also spend a lot of time helping them understand what gives them meaning and what their core values are, and what gives them energy in a profession. And the aspiration there is that every MESA student graduates having thought a lot about what matters to them and who they want to be professionally. So we think that that's a major contribution, and it's really fun to work with students in that process. But in that process, students are reaching out for mentorship. And we're trying to expand our alumni network as much as we can, so that those of you who are able will take phone calls from students and share some of your journey and some of your thoughts. And we want to appreciate those that have already done that. We have a new student journal. This is now in the 3rd year of its publication, but we have a student journal called Al Buhuth, or Studies, in which people publish original research on the Middle East. We also this year started doing publications of student essays in Arabic, which I think is remarkable. And it's our flagship Middle East Studies journal for undergraduates in Middle East Studies at BYU. And we'll make that available to you, and you can see some of the cool research that's happening among our students. But we usually have about 4 journal-length articles that focus on original research having to do with the Middle East, as well as some essays and some Arabic language material. We are also spending a lot of time these days making sure that students have a rich graduation portfolio, and we do exit interviews with every MESA graduate. We do that in part to celebrate the great work that they've done, but also to understand and hear about their journey, a journey of what they've learned and how they've learned it over time. That's really helping us to understand what resonates with students in the program and what makes the program work for them, as well as things that we might want to change over time. We have a couple of generations of faculty in the program. I studied Arabic at BYU. I was a comparative literature major, but some of the faculty that I worked with often as a student have either recently retired or will be retiring quite soon. Connie Lamb, who is our Middle Eastern librarian, just retired on December 1st. And we'd be really interested in hearing from any of you that had a relationship with Connie and had some things that you could share on the occasion of her retirement. Not everyone gets to know our librarians very well, but I suspect some of you may have done that. And if you are one of those folks, if you could reach out to us with some things to share about your experience with Connie, that would be really, really beneficial for us. Also, Dan Peterson, who has been a remarkable member of our department, is still a faculty member, but he will be retiring in 2021. And we are looking forward to collecting alumni memories and thoughts on occasion of Dan Peterson's retirement. So keep that in mind over the coming months. We are interested in bringing alumni to speak, and given our current situation, a webinar might also facilitate the opportunity for alumni to speak either in a panel or an individual talk in a way that students can access regardless of where they are, as well as involve alumni. Our aspiration is to have at least one alumni talk every semester, if not more than that. And so if you have ideas or have an interest in presenting to students, we're interested in talking to you about that as well. We recently just had a wonderful Q&A session with Ambassador Matt Tuller at U.S. Embassy Baghdad, who spoke a lot about what he's been experiencing and U.S. foreign policy as it relates to Iraq. And we are grateful for those kind of opportunities for our students. One question came up, which I'll address right now, and we can talk more in questions, but COVID has done a lot, right, to international studies and created a lot of constraints for us. In fact, our regular Fall Jordan program this semester has been held in Provo, and it's been the same format that we usually run in Amman. We even have CASID teachers who teach via Zoom and in the same kind of groups that we traditionally do in Amman. Our BYU class is held on campus. And I think that was a disappointment for many of our students that were hoping to be in Jordan this semester, but it also, from a linguistic point of view, has gone extremely well. And we're very happy as a program at the progress people have made and the way we've still been able to connect to these wonderful, wonderful teachers at CASID. We've had an aspiration then to take those students who are doing their intensive Arabic in Provo and get them into the Middle East either this spring or summer. And we're still hopeful that we can provide them with a study abroad and field studies experience during either spring or summer term this year. So those are my updates on our program, and happy to discuss more of those things in our question and answer period.
Wonderful, thank you. Before we let you go though, Quinn, I was wondering if you would give a little bit of an update also about the Flagship program.
I can, a little bit. So as many of you know, BYU was selected to participate in an Arabic Flagship program in Morocco. We've had students attend that program. We usually get several students who are admitted to that program each year. You need to be an undergraduate to participate, and so many students take that as a fifth year of undergraduate going into Morocco. This year we had 3 students participate. Unfortunately, they've had to participate online because Morocco has had similar public health restrictions as we've had in the United States. 2 of those students are finishing the entire year online. It takes an enormous amount of endurance to do that, and their Arabic has improved a great deal. One update on Flagship is that Flagship is not under new administration as of this coming year. So ACLS, which has traditionally run Flagship, will not be doing that this coming year. And we're quite optimistic about the possibility of new administration being able to engage with some of the particular challenges our students have. We often have married students who go over who were not integrated very well into the program at first. We also have seen some improvements over time in terms of expectations. The goal of Flagship is in part to get students to test at an OPI level of superior, which is an exceptionally high level of Arabic. And we have had students do that through that program, but we've seen improvements in pedagogy over time. So we will continue to encourage students to go to Flagship. BYU is a core member of that program, and we think it's a great opportunity for students in MESA to also get a second study abroad experience, this time in Morocco, but also one that enables them do an internship and to get some on-the-ground experience as part of a double major in Arabic language.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. So we are going to go ahead and transition to talking with faculty. So we are going to go ahead and start with Professor Christine Verharan. So Professor Verharan, Isam Verharan, if you wouldn't mind coming on and introducing yourself and your research and everything that you have been doing so that alumni can get to know you a little better.
All right, I unmuted and turned my camera on, so you should be able to see me and hear me. And I don't know how many of the alumni are students I had, probably not a great many, but I did have some in the 3 years I was on campus. Then I was in Jerusalem for a year, and then last year I've been working on a book manuscript that I turned in, hopefully the final revisions for this week. So this week, this year, I've been back on campus teaching. I teach the Middle East Survey, History 240 and History 241. And I also teach Ottoman history. And next semester, I'm going to be teaching Women in Middle East History. So I'm excited about that. So I'm not sure about the Middle East Studies Arabic part because my language of research is Ottoman Turkish. So I think Arabic is great, but I like Turkish better. So I spend my time doing research in Turkey. COVID has certainly impacted me. I was supposed to go to a conference in London on the Crusades and then do research in Turkey and then head to Zagreb for an Ottoman history conference, and I was not able to do any of these this last summer, which is kind of disappointing, but I'm hopeful for 2021. So I am very much interested in Ottoman history, and so I thought I'd show you, because I have very beautiful book covers, I would show you first this book, a monograph, Allies with the Infidel, the Ottoman-French Alliance in the 16th Century. That is my first book, and I think it has a really beautiful cover. My second book is an edited volume with Kent Schul. Some of you may know Kent, and it's Living in the Ottoman Realm, Empire and Identity, 13th through 20th centuries. And this is a collection of essays by very prominent scholars in Ottoman history that is used in a lot of different ways. And it also has a beautiful cover. So I'm having some problems with getting the cover image I want for my book project that I'm involved with, still seeing if we can get the one I want from Topkapı Library in Istanbul. If not, I'll have to look for something else. But I do feel like a cover is very important for a book. And since Ottoman miniatures are especially beautiful, I'm hoping for another one. I have loved teaching here at BYU, both in Provo and in Jerusalem. Part of my time in Jerusalem, I was able to go to Jordan, and I loved going to Jordan. I'm very envious of those students who are able to spend a semester there. I did study abroad as an undergraduate at BYU in Paris, and also went on an archaeological excavation to Tel Beersheba. So I think nothing is as great as study abroad for learning the language and also learning the history and really getting the feel for the place. While I was in Jerusalem, as I said, I was able to go to Jordan, but I was also able to go to a couple of locations that had been Ottoman territories I hadn't been to in Herceg Nova in Montenegro, and also Rhodes, which is currently owned by Greece. And going to those places added so much to my understanding of my research topics. So one of the best things I think about Middle East Studies Arabic is the fact that study abroad is such an important part of the program. So I think that is wonderful that students get that opportunity. And I think history is essential for an understanding of the Middle East. I love teaching all the different kinds of students I get: Middle East Studies Arabic, history, and whoever else is interested in knowing more about the Middle East, so that they have a better understanding of our global situation today. So that is some background on me. Personally, I'm married to an archaeologist, which is how I went to Turkey to begin with, and went to Istanbul and just fell in love with the city. So as well as going to Jordan, I don't think anyone's life is complete without going to Istanbul. So I'll just put that plug in.
That's so great. Thank you so much for sharing. So you mentioned earlier that you love teaching at BYU and at BYU Jerusalem. So what is your favorite thing about being a professor of these amazing MESA students or students on the study abroad in Jerusalem?
Oh, that's a hard question. One of the things I just loved in Jerusalem was being able to go, to the places. And so if you go to Jerusalem, the most prominent landmarks in Jerusalem, in fact, have an Ottoman stamp. The Dome of the Rock is covered with Ottoman tiles, and the old city walls were built by Suleiman. So it's so great, to get students excited about seeing these, doing the wall walk on the top of the walls. And there's also a number of fountains that Suleiman had built around the old city. And it was so fun touring around with the students and pointing out different places. So I really do love actually being in the places. So BYU Provo is great, but it's more fun to be on field trips. So.
Amen to that. Okay, well, great. Thank you so much, Professor Verharan. We are so grateful for you for sharing. I'm sure the alumni have loved getting to know you a little better.
I wish I could see them, but.
Yes, me too.
Well, sometime in the future, we'll do that.
Definitely. When it is safe again, we can't wait to all gather in person. So we are going to transition over. We're going to have Liz and Christian go ahead and turn their cameras on, and they are going to go ahead and give us the student perspective about what it's like to be a student right now and what they're doing and how they're coping and how they're enjoying the semester. So Liz and Christian.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having us here. Really grateful to be able to gather with all of you virtually and to talk a little bit about the student experience. So I'm going to talk a little bit, and then my co-president, Liz Walker, is going to take over a little bit. We both have very different experiences with the program. I'm a little farther along in the program. I'm just about ready to graduate. I'm actually going to be participating in the Arabic Flagship program this coming year, inshallah. So after that, I'll graduate, and then I'll become one of the great alumni at BYU. But my experience has been really interesting. I've just really loved the number of courses that are available now. I feel like there's a lot broader of a selection of courses beyond what I expected when I came to BYU, and especially over the years, they've added a lot more courses. There are a lot more Arabic courses, especially Arabic electives, that allow students different opportunities to expand their Arabic skills and their Arabic knowledge beyond what you might find in Al-Kitab or in traditional textbook Arabic. In addition, MESA classes also have a great variety. This coming semester, I'm going to be participating in the Islam and Contemporary Society class, as well as potentially Professor Meekum's Turkish and Persian film class. Really excited to be able to do that, along with the integration of some of the traditional poli-sci courses, like Professor Gubler's Israeli-Palestinian conflict class. I've just been really blown away by the enriching experiences that have been available at BYU and the wide selection of MESA and MESA-related courses, and it's only expanding from here.
Yeah, I would definitely second that. And what Dr. Meekum said about MESA being one of the most unique programs at BYU. I think it's one of my favorite parts of BYU. I feel really lucky to be part of it. I think the most unique thing about this semester's student experience has been the Jordan Intensive program, which typically takes place, as you know, in Amman. But this semester, given the circumstances, we've been operating the same program out of Provo. And like Dr. Meekum said, we've still had COSID involvement over Zoom. And I think that's been really powerful for students still. I've seen a lot of them develop really beneficial relationships with their teachers and with other staff at COSID that have that have given their time as like speaking partners. And then I think probably the biggest loss that we've seen has been local speaking time, because the students aren't able to go out as they would in Jordan and talk to natives as much. But we've seen a really huge benefit from the way that the faculty has dealt with the BYU class time that they have. So like Ustaz Spencer Scoville and Ustaz Ahmed have been doing some really targeted instruction that has helped the students progress in their dialect really well. I think we're seeing really good proficiency gains despite the circumstances. And I feel like the students have done really well overall. So that's been a big part of the experience, yeah.
Yeah, and then just coupling the traditional Arabic programs that we have had, the traditional Arabic offerings, coupling that with the growing Arabic flagship program has been a really great benefit for our students. I think that we can, there are definitely ways for alumni to help current students in any level of the program. I think that one of the biggest ways is, as Professor Meekum said, through lectures or through roundtable discussions or panel discussions, getting students informed as to the great opportunities that await them after graduation and the wide variety of experiences that alumni have had. As Professor Meekum said, we want to really focus on getting alumni like yourselves involved in the student experience. And one of the ways we're going to be doing that is we want to reach out to you and have you participate in a panel discussion or in an AMA format, like what the Kennedy Center has done traditionally. Additionally, because everything is online now, that's opened up the opportunity for alumni to take a a leading role or a larger role in peer mentoring. Traditionally, peer mentoring has taken place student to student. Usually a senior or a junior will take a freshman or a sophomore under their wing and just help guide them through the program, help them understand what to expect in their BYU journey and in their MESA experience. Since everything is online now, we think that we can integrate alumni into that program as well, and offer a way to help students understand that there are great, amazing possibilities after graduation. So incorporating the traditional role of alumni, which has been to help mentor students in what happens after graduation, and kind of combining that with what we've done traditionally with peer mentoring. We think that those two things combined can create a great opportunity for our students. And this coming semester, we hope, as the semester starts up in January again, we hope to be able to reach out to many of you and get you involved in the peer mentoring process and in the panel discussions and other exciting possibilities to help our students succeed in their program.
Yeah, I've seen that be really successful with the professional development class that was mentioned earlier. I had a really good personal experience reaching out to alumni and just hearing about their experiences in the MESA program and then transitioning to the professional world. I think that's probably still, it has been and remains the biggest concern of MESA students is how to apply the degree in the field that they're really passionate about. In a way that's practical and fulfilling. It's like we've seen over and over again that that's so possible, but there's so many different directions that you can go. I think it's so beneficial for students to hear from alumni experiences and to see how a MESA degree is fulfilling to you professionally and personally, the different ways that you're able to apply it and the different ways that you're able to help other people with what you take away from BYU.
Wow, thank you both so much for your updates. So I know the question I always get, and I want you two to stick with me, is as a student, so what inspired you to study Middle East Studies Arabic? What are your hopes and goals with the major? And yeah, just tell us a little bit about yourselves and your classmates too. What's driving people to want to study MESA right now?
Well, just to start off with what Professor Meekum said, really the MESA students really represented a diverse group. We've got a lot of students who are really interested in international relations or who are interested just generally in the region. One thing that we've seen more recently, though, is connections with returned missionaries. There are some, the church is starting and has been running some Arabic programs in cities like San Diego, or I think they've got some in Canada that are going on and in Sweden, serving refugee populations. And so as missionaries return from their mission field with either being assigned Arabic missionaries or having experience among a refugee population, it kind of grows their interest. That's kind of my story in particular, is that I was an Arabic speaking missionary from 2015 to 2017 in San Diego, California. And I had taken a little bit of Arabic beforehand, but that Arabic experience really was enriched by my mission and really got me thinking that this is what I needed to do. This is what I wanted to do. I'm still not 100% sure as to where this is going to take me. I do hope that my Arabic and now my Hebrew experience, I've been taking the modern Hebrew classes, that can help me succeed in like a government role, such as in the State Department. But I'm open to wherever life takes me. So.
Yeah, I actually have a pretty similar story to Christian. We served in the same mission, but I left in 2017, so we didn't overlap. And I spoke Arabic for a while, so that was really fulfilling. I started out in MESA though before my mission, and I've always hoped to work for the government, but more in a like development capacity. So right now I'm exploring more econ and data analysis. Still not super sure where I want to end up, but I think the program is really diverse, as Christian said. I've met a lot of students who want to go the government route, but also a lot of students who just study Arabic because they're passionate about it and they feel drawn to it. I've seen students come into the program who want to do more humanities, history kinds of things. I'm trying to think of what other interests we have. I actually have some friends who are, they've transferred from anthropology. So they're interested in like migration and research in that area, especially like with the refugee situation coming from the Middle East. But yeah, there's lots of different interests and areas that people are coming from.
That's great to hear. Did you feel like speaking Arabic on a mission helped you in your Arabic classes?
Yes, it did.
I would say significantly, because going into the Jordan intensive experience, I had already been in a situation where I was way over my head in Arabic. I think that's often one of the most difficult parts of the study abroad, is that people feel overwhelmed and like they can't speak how much, they can't express themselves the way they want to. But I think a mission already gives you that experience. And so definitely helped me on my path.
Yeah, for me, the mission really helped me gain experience with an entirely new version of Arabic. I had taken a little bit of Arabic, as I said, before my mission, but my mission gave me experience with, like on-the-ground experience with native speakers, which is something that I hadn't done before, and experience with both Iraqi and Syrian Arabic dialects, which I was, both of which I was unfamiliar with. Coming back to BYU, definitely the experience with Syrian refugees definitely helped a lot, because there's a lot of carryover with Jordanian and Levantine dialects. But while it did give me a lot of grammar experience, I will say that my professors chided me very often for a lot of Iraqi phrases that I would slip in unknowingly. So.
Oh, that's so awesome. What a great opportunity for both of you. So we're going to go ahead and add Quinn into this conversation, and we're going to go ahead and jump into questions. So there were so many great questions submitted in advance. And I wanted to start off with the first one. It's a little bit of a long one, so let me just preface it with that. But it says, the first 2 decades of the 21st century were defined by the role of oil in the world economy, the rise of global terrorism, and U.S. military involvement in the Middle East. The MESA program was developed in response to these events to fill a real need of expertise in that area of the world. The U.S. now is the #1 producer of fossil fuels, and there is growing interest in renewable energy. China and the COVID pandemic now dominate the news, and the U.S. has lost its appetite for military intervention in the Middle East. Russia, Turkey, and Iran have mobilized to fill that void, and Israel is also establishing formal diplomatic ties with the Arab states. So here's the question. What are the implications of these socio-political trends and economic trends for MESA program and MESA students' careers moving forward? Will there still be a need for MESA graduates in the world economy?
I can start on that one. Thanks, Esther. Very thoughtful and context-rich question. This is my 6th year leading the MESA program, so I have a little bit of time in which I've been able to see trends in the program. The Middle East Studies major had a lot of students that joined right after the 9/11 attacks, so in the years following 2001. And then it settled down a little bit in terms of total numbers. In the 6 years that I've been involved with the program, we've had almost steady numbers of majors and minors. And I think that people come to the program for some of the reasons that Christian and Liz mentioned, because of personal experiences on missions. I think less than concerns about terrorism, perhaps, or concerns about oil. People are drawn to the Middle East because of concerns about civil war, of state failure, of migration. They've experienced this in Europe or in other places. And so there still are a lot of strong draws for people to study the region. And if they're anything like me, they start with Arabic and then they can't quite let go of it because it's something that just kind of sticks with you and shapes your perspective on the world. When I look at what students are doing when they graduate, and this is one of the questions that I saw had been submitted in advance, I think we have really a diverse range of people, people's goals in the program, but we still have a very strong number of students that are interested in going to work in diplomacy, in various aspects of government service, still interest in intelligence. But probably more than in that period, we have a lot of students who are interested in doing humanitarian work. And we have a remarkable number of students over the last few years that have done internships, either with organizations working with refugees in Greece, or in Jordan, or in Utah, and in a variety of places. And so I think as key events in the Middle East have shifted a little bit, some of our students' interests have shifted, but I am struck by how many people still think that the Middle East is central to their aspirations and central to the questions that they care about, professionally and personally.
Great, thank you. So then thinking about kind of goals after you talked about career aspirations of students, how can alums support students in both those career aspirations and also in graduate school aspirations?
Well, we are certainly interested in as much possible support as people would like to provide. So if you are interested in being a mentor for our students, please let Esther or I know. We will put you in our list of students that have volunteered to be mentors, and you're likely to get a call at some point from somebody who's interested in your particular path. We do have a very high number of students that go on to graduate school. Not everyone goes on to graduate school immediately after BYU, but if you look a couple of years out, we have very strong rates of graduate school attendance, and we have alumni who have graduated from a wide range of really important and good programs that can provide great support there. So that's something that I think we could take better advantage of. I think the first step then is saying, yes, I want to be a mentor, and that I can mentor on these kinds of things. Then we will work on our side to make sure that the connections are appropriate. Esther, I also encourage the Alumni Association to think about that from the perspective of alumni and what would be useful for alumni to be able to make those connections.
Yeah, great. Definitely. I think alumni are always looking for connections among each other too. That's a great point. Liz and Christian, any thoughts about how alumni can support you two better and your classmates?
I think Professor Meekum really hit it right on the head. Students in MESA are looking for, students join MESA because they think that the Middle East and Arabic are going to be an important part of their future. And so having some guidance on that front on what possibilities are out there after graduation can really help, especially knowing that there's a wide range of possibilities. I think that a lot of students, at least when they enter the MESA program, they start out thinking or feeling that this is something that they need to do, but not exactly knowing which direction they're going to go with it or what options there are for them. So I think alumni making those connections with students at all levels, whether they're incoming freshmen or people like me who are just about to graduate, I think alumni making those connections with students and showing them what possibilities there are can be really helpful. So I think that alongside what Professor Meekum mentioned with the peer mentoring aspect of things, I think, like we mentioned before, we would love to have alumni participate in panel discussions or AMA events to really show our students what's out there, what they can do with it.
Yeah, and I think if any of you can remember back to your undergraduate days, how it felt thinking about the future and how nebulous it was at the time, I think that the more informed students can be before they graduate about possibilities and real experiences that people have had with graduate school or professionally, they can better start to envision their own future in a realistic way and be confident in that and less afraid of the amount of possibilities and just the level of unknown.
Can I add just one more thing there? This kind of support is not limited to those of you out there who are using the Middle East in your careers. So if you graduate in Middle East Studies at BYU, the Middle East will be forever part of you. It's not going anywhere. But many of our alumni don't work in fields directly related to the Middle East, right? They might be working in state or local government or private sector. They might be attorneys. They might be doing, medical professions, a wide variety of things where they may feel, I don't know what I could offer to MESA students. But let me just say that wherever you are and whatever part of the economy you're in, we tend to have students that are interested in your pathway and in your advice. So not all of our students will go on to work in the Middle East or to use their Arabic, but every day, but they will be contributing in remarkable ways in the world, just as in the ways that our alumni do. So we want people involved on non-Middle East related topics as well as Middle East related topics.
That's great. Thank you. That's good to hear. My husband and I both studied MESA, and both of us are in healthcare. So my next question, I thought this was an interesting question someone submitted. They want to know how the language test scores have changed, if at all, for post-study abroad and post-double major students. I mean, we all know class of 2012 was the smartest and brightest, but other than that class, have the scores changed at all over the years?
Well, there's never been anything like the class of 2012, at least what I hear from the class of 2012. I unfortunately wasn't around to see that amazing class, but I am able to see the Arabic test scores from people on study abroad every year. We tend to have a fair amount of variation from year to year, and that's normal. So there's variation across number of students graduating, and there's also variation across the years. What we have seen in terms of broader trends is that our ability to get students at the very highest levels of OPI scores, whether it be advanced, high, or superior, has gone up over time. And I attribute that in part to the investments we've made in things like Flagship, students that end up really excelling in the double major in Arabic language, which is still a pretty new thing for us. And so students who continue to go on and take those 5 or 6 additional classes beyond what's required in the MESA major really tend to get remarkable scores for undergraduates. And we have had students crack that superior level recently. So we still have a wide variation. On OPI scores, we tend to see anywhere from intermediate high to advanced high for people that test coming out of study abroad. And for people who continue to pursue Arabic after that, we can almost always move them up another level or two. So the trend is actually very positive, and I'm really pleased with the number of students that have achieved remarkable proficiency in the past few years, in part because of that double major in Arabic language.
That's great. We're excited to see Christian and Liz, how you both do. I'm sure you'll do wonderful from what I can tell. So then the next question we wanted to ask was, looking at the courses. So the question was specifically around, has the program incorporated a medieval Islamic philosophy course in the curriculum? That's pretty specific. And so kind of more general, are there courses that students wish were in the curriculum that aren't, that faculty wish were in the curriculum that aren't? How's the curriculum looking like these days?
Liz and Christian, you might have something to say on that too, but let me just say that if we just look at this coming semester, we have a course on Islamic philosophy. That course is taught by Dan Peterson. We've recently developed a course called the Quran in English, which has been a popular course. We have a course that Professor Verharan talked about, Women in Middle Eastern History course. Connie Lamb has taught a course for us on women in the Middle East, which is part of our Global Women's Studies curriculum. I'm experimenting with a course this next semester on the cinema of Iran and Turkey to integrate Iran and Turkey a bit more into our humanities experience. And so we're feeling like we have quite a wide range of opportunities for students. But from a student perspective, I'd be interested in hearing what you guys think.
Yeah, I would say from my perspective, at least, there's no issue in the variety or amount of courses offered. I have more trouble with the fact that I don't have unlimited time because I want to take almost all of them, but you really can't. So I think especially the higher level political science courses that are centered on like studying conflict and revolution, and then some of the mentioned Islamic history classes are really, really interesting, but students don't always have time or space in their schedule to take them. So I think that the department is doing a really good job in terms of course offerings.
Yeah, I would say the same. Especially for me, what's been really helpful is the wide variety of Arabic classes that have also been integrated into the MESA curriculum. I feel like there's a lot more offerings out there to expand one's Arabic abilities, as I've mentioned, beyond just what you might get in the textbooks or beyond what you would get just through study abroad. I remember specifically there was a class that I took with Professor Peterson, I think a year or two ago, where we actually went through some of the works of Ibn Rushd in Arabic, and that was really useful for me to get that different perspective. So I think that the integration of Arabic courses and the wide variety of Arabic courses that have been offered have been really helpful for me. And like Liz said, my problem is not the lack of courses, but just the lack of time to take all the ones that I think are really interesting. So.
That's great. I think you both get an A+ for enthusiasm and excitement about your coursework. And I'm sure Quinn will give you that in all your courses he's teaching. So there's another question people are dying to know about. It's about the retired faculty. What in the world are they doing? Everyone misses them and is just so excited that they are in this new exciting stage of life. So Quinn, I don't know if you would mind giving us updates about what everyone's favorite former professors are doing, but we'd love to hear it.
I can share a couple of things. Two of the folks that had an enormous influence on me, and probably for many of our alumni, are Parkinson and Donnelly Bowen. And they both recently retired. Dill and Laura Beth, as soon as they retired, they headed out on a mission to Jordan. So they moved from a study abroad in Jordan, getting paid, to an unpaid mission in Jordan, where they had a great deal of influence on the church there, and also on the humanitarian efforts of the church there. Laura Beth has had some health challenges recently that have led to Dill and Laura Beth moving up closer to their daughter in Salt Lake. And Dill has been working on Arabic language things for the church. So he has been very active in supporting Arabic language materials for the church, which I think is a great fit for him and is a great contribution. Donnelly Bowen also recently retired, but she didn't really retire from her work. She just published, along with a couple of other authors, a wonderful new book in political science called The First Political Order, which is about the family, arguing essentially that the first political order, the place where politics always starts, is in the home, and the relationships between men and women in marriages. And one of the really profound things that this book does is talk about how the status of women in the Middle East and other places is profoundly tied to political outcomes more broadly. And so one of her great passions, which has been to think about the way that women's political opportunity influences broader social political trends, including democracy and political violence. She's just made a wonderful contribution to that, and everybody should check out her new book, The First Political Order.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And that's so exciting to hear about that. Looks like we have Kevin available, Professor Blankenship. So we might end the question and answer section right now and finish off with an introduction to Kevin and his work. So Kevin, if you wouldn't mind just talking to us and sharing everything that you're up to.
Hi, yeah. I have to offer my sincere and deep apologies for showing up so late. I was having technical issues just now, and then before that I was confused about which link to use, so my apologies. So as Esther mentioned, my name is Kevin. I'm new faculty as of fall 2018. Finished my PhD at the University of Chicago. Appropriately enough, I'm wearing a sweater for my beloved alma mater. And at BYU, I was an undergrad at BYU, not a MESA major, oddly enough. I was comparative literature was my major, but certainly involved in MESA activities and took Arabic classes and things like that. And so, between BYU and grad school, I did a master's degree also in comparative literature, lived for a year in Egypt on the CASA program. And then during my PhD program, I did a Fulbright for PhD dissertation research in Morocco. So I lived there for a year as well. And graduated with a PhD in 2018, started working at BYU after that. And it's been a blast so far. Really appreciate all the colleagues, everything that they're doing. My research and my specialty is in classical Arabic literature and thought, more generally, kind of civilization sort of stuff. So I like old texts, and I like old figures and things like that. In many ways, it presents a challenge that it's hard, but it's gratifying to wrap your head around. So, and particularly my research is on one figure who was sort of controversial. He was a poet, an author. He was a grammarian and sort of a skeptic, a rationalist critic of sort of prevailing. Oh, yeah. So I apologize. I just got a message that my audio cuts in and out, and that happens sometimes with my computer. I apologize. So if you need me to repeat something or ask me a question, please let me know. But anyway, maybe I can stop there if the sound is too annoying. But that's basic stuff about me.
Yeah, no, it is so nice to meet you and so great to have you as join us today. I apologize about the link confusion. But I guess we had asked Professor Isam Verharan about what she loves about teaching at BYU and teaching in the MESA program. So if you wouldn't mind just sharing that, I think the audio, we can hear you well enough. So go ahead and just share that, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, thanks for your kind indulgence with the technical issues. What I love about teaching at BYU, several things. First of all, I can expect more of the students than I can. I've taught at several other places, and generally BYU students work harder, they're more mature, they're more conscientious, their languages are better. So that's a real treat. Another thing is, it's just a very collegial atmosphere at BYU. It's nice to pass people in the hallway. Everyone smiles and is very friendly. For me, BYU's also been very supportive with resources, whether that's funding for research and things like that. If I have some project or something, everyone's very enthusiastic about it. So that's all good. One thing I should say also is, and this happens to be BYU's geographical placement down the road from another university that shall remain nameless in this conversation, that happens to have one of the best Middle East library collections in the country, if not the world. So, less than an hour's drive away, you can go and find a huge manuscript collection in Arabic and Syriac and other things. So resources, students are great, colleagues are great. And to say nothing of the place itself, it's beautiful here, and life is pretty nice.
Well, thank you so much. And we are at time. So it was so nice to meet you and have you join us. And thank you to all the alumni who joined. We are looking forward to having you support one another and support the students as everything is going on. So feel free to reach out if you have anything, if you want to join us in any way, we're happy to have you. Thank you.